Discretion is advised.
Police are investigating a series of alleged terroristic threats made against people living in one neighborhood near Lake Calhoun. And Brett Hofflin is live in the newsroom now to explain what's going on. Brett?
Well, Leah, I talked to a few neighbors who told me throughout the week multiple young men have been harassing them. One woman even saying they threatened to kidnap and rape her. On any given day, you can see hundreds of people around Lake Calhoun. But after just moving to the neighborhood, this woman is keeping her identity hidden to protect herself from what happened on Monday.
We couldn't get him out. We didn't know what to do.
According to this Minneapolis police report, between 20 and 30 young men showed up in front of her house around 9:30 in the morning, and the comments turned to threats.
They were screaming at their house that they were going to kidnap me and were going to rape you. It was just a very traumatizing experience.
The report indicates that these guys were driving onto the sidewalk and on the lawn, all while shooting off bottle rockets and screaming.
It's a scary thought, especially for those who have young children.
Multiple neighbors even took cell phone video of the aftermath. Here you can see police talking with some of the young men.
The entire neighborhood is up in arms.
But it wasn't just Monday. Neighbors tell me these visitors have stopped by the last 3 days. But on Monday, the alleged attacks were much more personal.
Any second thoughts about moving to this neighborhood?
No. If you let them scare you, then they win. It needs to get nipped in the bud before it gets any worse, because the escalation that occurs over a matter of hours could potentially kill or harm somebody.
I reached out to Minneapolis police for a comment. They told me this is an active investigation and the department is taking it very seriously. They're providing additional community support to those victims and more patrols in the area. Live in the newsroom, Brett Hofflin, 5 Eyewitness News.
Still no suspect, John, and it was right back here in this path behind me, just behind this fence, where neighbors say they found the woman's body this morning. Now, many people are wondering who could have killed a woman who many folks in this area are describing as a nice, faithful, and friendly person to everyone.
The house done been broken in 3 or 4 times.
From his regular spot under a shade tree outside his home, Oscar Simon is closely watching everything and everyone passing along Kellogg Avenue. A violent murder next door is rattling Simon's sense of security.
And we ain't never had no problem like this over. We never heard anything like this over here.
Over here, outside the small beige house, is where neighbors found a woman's body covered in blood early Wednesday morning. Police have not yet identified the woman, but say she was stabbed multiple times in the neck and stomach.
I mean, when it hits that close to home, you think you're safe, but you don't feel safe.
Neighbors on this quiet street are worried, even more knowing police have no leads on who killed the woman. The victim's friends and members of the Church of Christ say she'd only been living in Dallas for 3 months. They say she left her job at the church last night around 10. She was planning to move to Eagle Pass today. Neighbors suspect the motive may have been robbery.
There's so much home invasion going on, you know, and I never expected it to be close to home.
Michael Glaze is among those neighbors who saw the victim's body and called 911. He says efforts to help with CPR were too late.
It was a very frightening thing to see someone get stabbed so many times like that, close to your neighborhood and close to where you live at.
For now, neighbors are left stunned and, like Oscar Simon, on high alert with a greater sense of security.
It's too devastating because it could have been my house. It could have been me or my wife in there.
And again, several neighbors out here in this neighborhood told me that they will remain on high alert after this murder. The woman's church members told me that police are trying to identify, or notify rather, her family right now. In Oak Cliff, Damon Fernandez, Channel 8 News.
Evening. The sound of kids screaming and having fun was overpowered by a plea for help.
I could hear the woman way back on top of a mountain hollering for help.
Lost for days in the woods without food or water and completely naked, not knowing what lurked on the mountaintop.
We have bears, we have coyotes, bobcats, everything, you know, in these hills.
Late Thursday night, a young woman from Magoffin County met a man from Johnson County at a friend's house and went for a drive north up a mountain, but the situation quickly went south. The woman told Martin County deputies she was raped and ran away into the woods where she was lost for days.
Wandering around trying to find help.
She was rescued Monday evening after neighbors heard her scream.
When I first could look up the mountain and see her, she was just standing there with the feed sack wrapped around her, and her whole body was just completely trembling. No doubt that the young lady thought she was going to die.
Deputy Hausinger says the young woman was so emotional she could barely hold herself up.
I grabbed her and let her know that everything was going to be all right, that help was there.
A cry for help answered.
She's a very, very lucky young lady. Very lucky. No doubt God was watching over her.
Catherine Robinson, WSAZ News Channel 3, Martin County.
A Memphis mom is missing while her husband remains in jail in an unrelated case. And tonight, new details from police furthering the idea she vanished without a trace. WMC Action News 5's Sasha Jones explains what she left behind that has investigators puzzled.
This affidavit describes in great detail what led to the disappearance of Kayla Freeman. It's been 2 days since the mother and wife was last seen, and now the questions are mounting. While Randall Freeman sits in jail,
Freeman, sir? Yes.
The search is still on for his missing wife. Kayla Ashford Freeman was reported missing on Tuesday, and now the affidavit on her disappearance gives new light into what happened before police were called out. According to the document, Randall Freeman mentions last seeing his wife at 3:30 in the morning on Tuesday, when he says she pulled into the garage, sat in the car, but did not come into the home. At 4 in the morning, he says he woke up and didn't see his wife, and that's when he called her phone, but did not get an answer. At 5:48 in the morning, the report says Randall Freeman called his mother-in-law. Kayla's mother reported coming over to the house, and that is when she found the key still in the ignition of her daughter's car, Kayla's purse on the coffee table, and her jeans on the ground with her debit card in the pocket.
I just pray she's at peace, and I pray that she's okay.
In the midst of the chaos, Randall Freeman has been charged with arson, something police say is an unrelated charge, but happened just 2 days before his wife disappeared, leaving even more questions about what happened to this wife and mother. And Randall Freeman's bond is set at $500,000. And according to police documents, he was caught on surveillance video throwing a burning object at that home. That home is only 2 miles away from where they say his wife disappeared. In the studio, Sasha Jones.